Welcome to this week's episode of Beyond the Box with your host and CEO of BabbleBox, Sherry Langberg. Sherry interviews the world's biggest brands, agencies, and influencers to uncover their influencer marketing secrets to success. Go behind the scenes and learn how you can make influencer marketing part of your social media playbook. Subscribe to Beyond the Box at podcast.babblebox.com. Listen to all of your favorite episodes and follow us on Instagram for more influencer marketing inspiration.
So much has happened since I saw today's guest at Toy Fair 2020. I'm excited to have Rachel Griffin, founder of PlayWise Partners, join us to share her industry insights and what it's like to start a business amidst a pandemic. Welcome, Rachel.
Hello, how are you?
I am, as I told you, I think I'm exhausted. I'm happy it's Friday. How about you?
Same. It's been a very, very busy week, but I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. So, let's get right to it. I cannot believe, when did you launch PlayWise Partners, and tell us more about it?
So we officially launched in January with taking our first client to New York Toy Fair in February. And it's been an exciting journey, and knowing that I'm launching in a pandemic was a little bit of a challenge. But that being said, I have nothing to compare it to, so I guess there's no place to go but up. So far, so good.
So I know, because I've been doing this the long road for more than 10 years, it's not easy to run your own business. What advice? There's so many people shifting amidst what's going on, and I apologize for my dog barking. But these are the things that happen these days. But what advice would you give to people who are now looking to branch out on their own?
So the main thing to do is have a focus of what your goal is and what you want to do. So for myself and my partner, Sheena Stevens, we've both been in the toy industry now, combined, which I hate to say this because it dates us, 40 years, about 20 years each. And she was on the outdoor products, and then she switched to agency side earlier on than I did. And then I've been in-house the whole time. So knowing your niche world of where you excel at and what you can bring to the table is probably priority number one. And then use your clients or use your database and your friends and your network to just build out that goal that you have. So with ourselves being in the industry, we've had friends in the trade space, writing for the Toy Book and, royalties and Kidscreen and Toy News and all of these, great publications. So we tapped into them for advice on how to, continue doing things on our own. And then, being in the industry, we've had friends that are marketing experts, CMOs, heads of sales, heads of HR, heads of, all of these different levels within a company. So we utilize them as well for advice on, okay, how do we set up QuickBooks, or just little tiny things that you would not expect. Or if I was an agency pitching you on our expertise, what is the best plan that you're looking for as the marketing person or the sales person or something as an actual company, tapping into those friends that you have, your network, to utilize their insights as well to maximize your skills.
It's so hard. I find that part of the business very hard. And I find the QuickBooks the most grueling part of the whole thing. But definitely another thing that we've done is like chipping in with people. So, there's this database that's too expensive. Like, let's chip in 3 different people and we can then afford it. So definitely not easy doing the accounting, though.
No, it's definitely not. And thankfully, it's just Sheena and I, so there's not too much accounting yet.
Right.
but yeah, no, like you said, tapping into your friends and your network to get the most bang for your buck on a service or a program or a database or something is a great thing.
And so, how did you get into this niche category of toys?
To be honest, it was all a fluke. So I moved out to California, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed outside of graduating from university, and moved to California to work in the gleaming glitz of the entertainment business. And the job I was originally offered when I came out here, the producer had said that she had given the job to somebody else, and I can be an office PA if I wanted to, which to me was just changing, fax cartridges and coffee filters, which sounds, great if you're kicking off. But when you had the hindsight and the mentality that you were going to be a little bit bigger than that, off the gate, I turned it down, and I got in my car and cried. And, my parents said, you can come back, the next flight we can put you on. And said, no, everything happens for a reason. I know I'm supposed to be out here. And I did a couple of temp jobs, and my main temp job that I had was being executive assistant to Haim Saban, and he is the guy that created the Power Rangers.
Wow.
And and I was with him for 2 years when his COO, Mel Woods, went to consult for MG Entertainment when they were launching a little brand called the Bratz Dolls. And so I went over with him to be his assistant, and within a few months, I switched over into the PR department, and my career in toys has not stopped.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been a fun roller coaster of a ride for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I did the same thing. I just came to New York, and my parents like, come back. I'm like, I'm not. And I remember walking into a bagel shop and just crying to the guy behind the counter. And he's like, listen, give me your resume. Maybe I could find you a job.
Yep. And that's how the networking begins. All from a deli guy. You never know who he knows and so forth, right?
I'll never forget Essa Bagel on like something somewhere in the 60s, but I'll never forget him. So sweet. Tell us what it is. A lot of people out there don't know what it is. And we understand you just got back from a virtual Sweet Seat. What is it? How did it work?
Yeah, so Sweet Sweet is one of my most favorite events that's put on. It's been going on now, I want to say for 12 years.
Yeah.
And the Toy Insider Group puts it on. And for those that don't know that, that's Lori Shack's team. And they are phenomenal. So what it is it started off as a partnership with BlogHer. So for bloggers and influencers and so forth to come see product firsthand, feel it, touch it, play with it, video it, use it for their channels and so forth. And then it has since grown to being a huge undertaking of its own as the Sweet Sweet brand. And, people come from all over, influencers and press come from all over the country to come see products firsthand because they time it into middle to late July, where most toy companies' products are just starting to hit shelves at retail. So this is a chance for people to literally get their hands on it for the very first time since it was a prototype at New York Toy Fair. And it's a lot of fun. And, it's usually a nighttime event from like 3 to 10, give or take. So there's, pass hors d'oeuvres, and there's a bar. And so there's a place for kids to play with all the toys, but then also the parents have the outlet of, hanging with their quote unquote influencer friends IRL, in real life, because they come from behind the screens of Instagram or YouTube and get to hang out in person. And then we get to see everybody and hang out as well. So it's just a lot of fun. It's very relaxed, and it gives a chance for all influencers to play with the toys hands-on. Whereas this year, obviously, we've had a little bit of a hiccup with a lot of planning at events this year due to COVID, which has been very unfortunate. But I got to give props to the Toy Insider team because they took, some lemons and made it into lemonade like I've never seen. So they made Sweet Sweet a virtual event, whereas they created this massive platform where those same influencers would log on to a link and still walk the floor as if they're walking the floor in person with beautiful booth setups and skinned with everybody's branding and logos and call outs and activations. So some people had, somebody singing or a music video or things like that popping in, and influencers can walk the floor. And then when they get to the booth that they want, they stand on a little blue circle, and then it opens up to the booth. So for us, for example, when they came in front of the Yulu booth, Lana, who works on our team, she was at the chat saying, hi, Sally Smith, how are you? Welcome to the Yulu booth. Can I answer any questions for you? I'm like, yeah, we're really here to see about games. Great. And here's how you get into the Zoom. And you just click basically on my face, because there's a tower to the left and a tower to the right where myself and Sheena's photos were. So you can click on our face and it'll link you into each room. And so I handled the games side, and Sheena handled the activities and the collectibles. So once you clicked in there, then it opened up into a Zoom room where we then had our own mini activations going on. So I demoed all the games. Sheena did, exclusive reveals of the Glitter Burst and of Pop Pop Bling. So it was just a lot of fun. It is unfortunate that the influencers couldn't touch it themselves in person, but we were able to send out samples ahead of time to a handful of influencers. So they did have some of the products on hand to play with us in the Zoom. Right. So if they had questions on how to play it, or with Break the Board, we had our own little battles with some of the influencers, and who can get to the higher level. So it was extremely fun, a long day, but worth it nonetheless. And I think the influencer side of it was extremely engaging, and they got to bop around, and still we got to see all of our friends, just differently.
That is amazing. So I know that we have a lot of marketers who tune in. Do you know what software they use? Because everyone's trying to figure out what's the greatest tool to use for virtual events.
It was based off of Zoom, but I don't know what the platform itself was that they used to
Okay.
create the skins and things. But the meeting rooms were all Zoom based, and they partnered with Zoom to make sure it could hold thousands of people, because they had influencers from Australia and the UK and Mexico and Russia, and I mean they had people from all over the world tuning in, because whereas before it's in person and in the States, a lot of these influencers don't have the budget or the bandwidth to fly from Australia for a 5-hour event in New York City for one day. So the fact that it was now online, they all had the benefit of joining. So it was great for everybody.
I mean, it's like certain things are really not so great right now, but then all of a sudden you see this whole new world open up and you're like, wait a minute, but that's like, the lemonade.
Exactly. And I think a lot of companies, if they're smart anyway, will embrace this, because there are a lot of stay-at-home moms and dads that work and have had kids and have been dying to get back into the workforce, but just can't afford to take childcare. And so knowing now that you can, stressfully, but handle both at home at the same time, I think more companies now will be open to hiring work from home, parents, and get that ball rolling a little bit sooner than expected.
Yeah, there's so many conversations. Our team and we were just discussing today that, the challenge of work from home, and the challenge particularly for some of the women out there, it's like they're giving up their jobs because there's no one to take care of their children. So it's just really unfortunate. But so given that what we're talking about, I know that so much has changed since Toy Fair when I last saw you. What are some of the ways in which, you're helping your clients adapt?
So I think the key number one factor that I think everybody has to remember, especially with this year, is flexibility. Because between people getting furloughed, or the stress of people being at home that have never worked from home before and then are not used to it, some of our clients, we're on Zoom calls and they have one child sitting there on their lap on their Zoom call with us, and trying to get us to communicate with them, and then the kids chiming in or kissing the screen, and it's just and it's funny, and it's fine. And I think as long as everybody remembers that we're all in this together, then I think it'll be fine. But flexibility is key. So if you're banking on, prime example, Yahoo Entertainment or a CNN exclusive for whatever your product may be, or whatever your brand may be, and you really want that, you may have to think, okay, well, the guy that I used to always work with, maybe he got furloughed and you don't know it. So he can only answer emails 2 days a week versus answering them every day. So if you don't hear from him, it's probably not because he's ignoring you on purpose. One of two things has happened. One, he's either been furloughed and he only has 3 days, and the other 2 days he literally is not allowed legally to answer emails. So he can't get back to you. And then two, you're not the only one probably pitching him. So he's probably slammed with emails, and he doesn't necessarily have time to get back to everybody. So just give everybody a little bit of flexibility and breathing room, and be mindful of the fact that we're not in this by ourselves, that we're all going through this. And if you're stressed out about him not getting back to you, I'm sorry, he's stressed out that he hasn't gotten back to you, or anybody else as well, So I think just common courtesy and flexibility is probably main number one. And then two, I think with a lot of influencers and with journalists too, if you almost, I don't want to say write the story for them, but if you really kind of help them along with the pitch angle and what you're looking for and how to get to there, it makes their life a lot easier than just saying, hey, I have this great can of soda. Do you want to write about it? And it's like, well, why? What would it bring to the table? Why is this can of soda any better or different than the other can of soda? So it's just something along those lines, just kind of help them along with the process. And I think that'll make your life easier too, because then also you'll get your key messaging points out that you want, as opposed to them crafting something and then you turning around and being like, oh, it's not exactly what I was hoping for. But if you help craft the message fully from the get-go, it'll help.
Thank you. I'm going to kind of go on that word flexible. So the flip side of it, do you see influencers being more flexible, particularly in their budgets, their rates, they're willing to take on more for an assignment? Because, we want to support our brand partners. We want to be able to do more or extend better rates. But do you see that the influencers that you're trying to work with are being more flexible?
To be honest, it's about 50-50. So
Yeah.
I think the ones that, demand 30, 40, 50, 100 grand a post, they're not being flexible because they can usually get what they're demanding. It's the ones, the micros and the
nanos.
that are the nanos that are a little bit more flexible. And even actually the mid tiers, because the mid tiers that say would, demand, say $5,000 for a post or a YouTube video or something along the lines, they're being a little bit more flexible, and maybe they'll say, okay, well, if you can give me the $5,000, I'll give you 2 videos, or maybe you can turn them into an ambassador. So you turn that $5,000 into stretched over the next 6 months. So a lot of them are being flexible. And I think the best thing too is also find the ones that are the micros, because their engagement rate is probably way higher than those that have the millions of followers, because they can't engage with every single person that likes or comments on their video or a post. Whereas those that have, 20,000, 30,000 followers on Instagram or something, they are constantly talking to those people in their comments all the time. And then you can turn them into an ambassador to be with you, for long term. And then as their channel grows, they're gonna be like, you know what, Rachel was with me when I only had 200 followers. So I'm gonna help her
Be
out
loyal
when she needs something last minute or something like that.
Yeah, I did a presentation this morning, and that was exactly. But it's the rate, and the loyalty, but also if you work with one mega or macro influencer, you get that one person's audience and that one person's piece of content. But if you all of a sudden want to reach different targets or different locations, if you work with micros or nanos, you could get all different types of content, all different audiences.
Absolutely, and a lot of the macros, they are very friendly with each other, and they're constantly commenting in each other's posts and tagging each other and saying, hey, Sally Smith, you may like this, check it out. And then it's a big loop that are helping. So the conversation is constantly happening from channel to channel.
Yeah. Very interesting. Thank you. So I know that unfortunately, it looks like a lot of things are going to be canceled through the end of the year. The holidays coming up. How do you stay top of mind with influencers in the media, apart from what, Sweet that you just had? What are some of the other things you're doing?
So Sweet was a blessing. That just happened this week. So it was very busy. Lots of follow-up. And again, patience that I had mentioned earlier with the flexibility, because everybody is going to be doing the same thing. And also just trying to think differently, think outside of the box. Whereas, we have a lot of different items that are coming out from a wide variety of clients. And one of the ones that we have is called Bright Brush. And it is a toothbrush, which not many people think of toys and games, and you think of, oh my God, I have to go brush my teeth. But this Bright Brush game brush, I kid you not, myself and my 18-year-old, we jam out in the bathroom because it's got 7 different games to it, including, a pop jam and a dance party. And so the tunes are in there. And so you're brushing your teeth, and it's teaching you how to brush your teeth in the right way, brush up and down, brush in small circles, get extra points to swap sides. So you're doing it in the right way. So if you can look at whatever product you have. So for us, for example, where we're all about with Bright Brush, that you're brushing your teeth, but the silver lining is you're having fun, So with that, with top of mind with press and those, we're letting them know Bright Brush is great. You just kids how to brush their teeth properly while having fun, and it gets them into that routine of brushing their teeth. Ideally 3 times a day, but we'll be lucky if we get it once with some kids. So if they're going to go in there and do it, let's make sure they have fun with it. So it's just trying to be creative with your pitch angle and not scream louder than the others, just to shout more clearer.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a cool product.
It truly is fantastic. It's one of the most amazing things I've seen. And it is a lot of fun. It has 7 different games in there, and it's got race car jams and ninja moves. It's really fun. And it's only $20. So you really can't go wrong with it.
Awesome. So given your long track record in this space, do you remember the first time you ever worked with influencers?
The very first time I worked with influencers, I want to say it was twofold. So my first outreach that I did was to a wonderful woman named Melissa Hunter. And she now runs the Video Family Network. But back in the day, back in 2009, I believe, She was doing, she had a channel known as the Mommy and Gracie Show on YouTube. And it was her and her daughter doing doll reviews. And it was just a way for her and her kid to hang out together and have fun. And we had a couple of little collectibles, and I just reached out, and we've been friends now ever since. She's no longer has that channel, and she has her own little doll channel. And she consults on other YouTubers, and actually she consults for Toy Insider to help book all their influencers to come to Sweet Sweet. And she's just a great person. And so I met her all because she had a YouTube channel back in 2009, I believe. And then the other one was, I started early too, was with EvanTube, and we reached out and partnered him for an overall partnership with doing, he's in commercials, and we had him host an event for us back when I worked at Spin Master. So, and that was really fun too. So it's been a long time, but yeah, good, 10 plus years dealing with influencers back right when YouTube, just kind of got going.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like, it started for me with bloggers. So more even like 13 years ago, people are like, "Oh my God, influencer marketing is so big now," but it's existed for a long time. But a lot of people don't realize, like, they just think it was since Instagram hit the scene.
Right. No, there's been some amazing bloggers, actually 2 guy bloggers who have also become dear friends of mine. So it's Dada Rocks and Gay New York City Dad. It's Adam Cohen is Dada Rocks, and Mitch is the Gay New York City Dad.
I love Mitch. Yeah, we work with Mitch all the time.
Yeah, so he's great. So those 2 guys, I've known blogging since 2005 or 6. So they've been around for a very long time, and they keep plugging away, and they do great content. They're good guys. I mean, Mitch's kid now is, I think, 16 or 17 years old.
No, I think he might be in college. No.
Yeah, I think he's definitely an older child.
Right.
But that's how long Mitch has been doing this, since his kid was a tiny one.
Right.
And they just create fantastic content, and they're just good people, and they're fun, and they get it. So. And they're still doing it. So
Yeah.
it's fun to, have them and know how valuable they are and what an asset they are, and that they create good content, and they're good at it, so it's fun.
Well, it's funny. I miss the long format content. Like, I get it. I get TikTok. I get Instagram, but I love writing. And so I still love like reading blog posts. And I think that is like coming back now, because so many people are searching for, especially what's going on, like tips, tricks. How do I deal with my kids? So we're seeing a lot of like blog traffic resurging, but I don't think people realize the benefits of it from an SEO perspective, from a storytelling perspective.
I was just going to say that is, we still utilize blogs a lot. And for that same purpose, that when you're looking for something, when you Google something, if it's in a blogs, or even with press releases, we encourage our clients to put the press release out over the wire. Yeah, it costs anywhere from a couple $100 to a couple $1,000, depending on, how long it is, or images and video and stuff. But again, the search is out there. So it just helps if somebody is Googling a specific toy or a game or an item, that press release can come up in the Google, and then that helps trickle into, other searches.
Yeah, no, I agree. So do you remember a specific campaign that you did that just with influencers that yielded unexpected results that you were like blown away?
Trying to think. Yeah, there was a couple. Probably, I mean, anything I did at within Spin when we launched the games division over there was pretty good. They had a couple of fun games. Boom Boom Balloon was a really fun one, and headbands. So that we did with some influencers. That the pictures were just hysterical, with people with their headbands on their foreheads, acting things out. And then even just right now with Yulu, with our games and our Swirl and Style, which we launched in this past March. It hit Target in March. National Tie-Dye Day was at the end of April, and we tasked influencers to participate in National Tie-Dye Day, and it went through the roof. That Swirl and Style sold out at Target, and they were able to resell it back in, because it's, mainly people think of tie-dye as a summer activity, but because it sold out within the month, Target bought back in, and so now it's back on shelf for, it just restocked, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, from now through the holiday, because it was such a great thing. And I know that was all because of our loyal influencers that did it, because the team did not put any TV spend behind it. So it was all word of mouth on social media, and the fact that it's a great product. I mean, mess-free tie-dye, you can't go wrong with that.
Let me tell you something. I'm so sorry I didn't pick it up because I saw it and you showed it to me at Toy Fair. I'm like, oh, okay. I've been doing tie-dye by hand for the past 6 weeks, and I literally everything that I'm blue and purple everywhere. So I'm glad that it's restocked, because we're going to go get it.
It's great. And again, that's another $20 item. So all these items are $20 or less. So you can't go wrong and mess free. And we did it with myself, Reason, and her boyfriend. We each did 2 t-shirts each and bandanas to use for face masks, all within one. They come with little color packets that you make your dye.
Right.
And we each made, two t-shirts and 2 bandanas each, and had leftover dye to spare. So it lasts a while, and it is fun.
Yeah, we've been making a lot of face masks here. I think I'm moving on to sheets next. So,
well, the orb is a little small, but your pillowcase will fit in there. So,
okay, that's perfect.
So go for the pillowcase.
Okay. So if you could give brands who are new to the influencer marketing space, because I believe that some brands still are, what would it be?
I would say don't go. There's a great saying, go big or go home. I'm a big fan of that saying, but I think in this case, if you're new to it, start small and work your way up from there. If you're new to it too, grow with influencers. Find a handful that can be your buddies, and that you can grow together with them, and they can grow with you as your brand is growing and so forth. I know a lot of people want to get, the $1 million views because it has to produce sales, but the thing that's great about social is, yes, it will ultimately drive sales, but it's all about the authenticity and making it unique and real. If you come out with a bang with a big spend and it's a big ad all over the place, and it's, you're hitting the million followers, but you may not necessarily get the people that you want that are actually going to convert to the sales that you want. So if you get the specific influencers that are in the world, in the space that your product or your item is in, and it's an authentic matchup, that's what you really need the most. And some of those are the micro ones and the nano ones, and because they're really passionate about it, and like they are diehard, flower fans or whatever it is that you want. And they're really going to post about it and be passionate about it because they truly love it, versus the person who's just going to post about it because they're getting the money.
Yeah, no, I agree. Thank you. So my last question, which I always ask, is name an influencer you love to follow but hate to admit that you do.
Oh, geez. I don't even know, to be honest. I have to look. I'm going to cheat and look at my phone. I follow a lot of travel people because I am obsessed with traveling, and I ultimately want that to be my life. So I do follow a lot of travel people. So there's one. It's not necessarily a handle, but it's like van life, like people that live in vans and convert buses and vans into like mini houses.
Yeah.
And so anything along that space, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I can go down that rabbit hole of converting a school bus into a house, or a minibus, or the tiniest even VW van, and converting it into a house. I'm fascinated by it.
I am too. That's one of mine too. So is Snoopy, though. Like, I watch every Snoopy channel, which is crazy. It just makes me happy.
That's hysterical. I would not have pegged you for a Snoopy girl.
Yeah. So thank you so much for all this. This is super insightful, and we're wishing you the best of luck with, your new business and with the holiday season coming up, and wishing you only good things.
Thank you very much. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's Beyond the Box, produced by Tough Monkey Entertainment. Beyond the Box is brought to you by BabbleBox with your host, Sherry Langbert. Visit podcast.babblebox.com for more episodes and influencer marketing secrets.